Welcome back to CBB2. We're going to be doing some more masking and painting. We're going to be putting that rear end together as soon as we get that rear sprocket in, and a whole lot more. So do not adjust your set, stay tuned. One new starter motor cover gasket gooped into place. And bolted into place with new bolts too. We are sparing no expenses. And talking of tuning, we'll be putting the carbs back on because we think they've been rebuilt. That's what the kid tells me anyways. So they should be ready to rock and roll. We'll just throw them back in there. If only I can remember where I put them. They're not in the Honda box, are they? No. Oh, I know. They're right over there. There they are. Lovely jubbly. And we're just going to leave them as is. They're quite clean. They need no paint. You even start to try and fathom that. Doesn't look very inviting though, does it? Plus the fact it's tiny little type. I can barely read it. I can read it better now. I feel some spectacles may be required. And on the subject of forgetting where I put things, you guys were supposed to be playing pantomime, telling me it's behind me. Because I wondered where I put the gear shift. And then I remembered it was with the side panel that I'd painted up like that. Yes, so I've now got two side panels. I think I prefer the plain black. Yes, less is more, as I've been told recently. Anyway, we've got to take it off to tighten up that sprocket. Once we get the chain and everything on, we'll take it off to get the chain on as well and make life easier. And then we'll try both of them and decide which one we like best. But I'm probably going to stick with the plain black. And I don't know whether I love my tiger feet or not. Yes, name that band. And while we're on the subject of confusion, there has been some confusion as to what exactly this bike is, model-wise. The title just specifies TR, which is no help whatsoever because there is no Honda CB750 TR. I believe it is a custom. It is a C. It's a CB750C. Yes, one of these horrible creations. Nasty. So, yeah, quite the modification already. And that explains the kind of slightly long forks at the front and a lot of other stuff. What it doesn't explain is the fuel tank. So I have no idea where that came from. But it does seem to fit perfectly. So that's confusing too. And therefore, we've got to assume that this is the right wiring diagram. On the subject of masking, I decided to use bog roll. Yeah, that was a shit idea, literally. It tears quite easily. In my defence, I thought it would be easier to wrap it round because it's smaller and thinner and it didn't work. Kitchen roll's no better, by the way. Even newspaper won't do the trick. I know what I want. I want some of that shrink wrappy type stuff, but I can't be bothered to buy some just for doing this, so we'll have to make do with something. As usual, nothing you can't do with a plastic bag. So these things do come in handy. I like to recycle stuff, and this is just one way of doing it. Sorted. Plastic bags. Anyway, so I need to drain the oil out completely, take the oil filter off, so I can paint that separately and I can get in better to all the rest of it. As you can see, it's pretty dark and dingy in there, isn't it? So for that, we need the back wheel back on, so it's more level, so I can actually get an oil tray under there, because the Delcovic exhaust is bloody low, isn't it? Yeah, that's not very good from a ground clearance point of view. Yeah, so that's all that. We're going to have to start looking at all these electrical bits and pieces which we've been putting off, as you know. Yes, I don't find it any more interesting than you, Mr. Sansom. So Honda decided to put all the fuses up front, which is nice from an accessible point of view. They all look the same to me. They're all little glass bottles. Ships in bottles. Anyway, we'll have to work that all out. And then that, yes. From a black and white diagram. It was 1982. I think we had colour TV by then. we could have had colour diagrams. And there are such things on the World Wide Web. I found one for my 1977 Kawasaki, but I cannot find one for the 1982 CB750C. I made a note to myself and future owners. Yes. One refurbished back wheel back in place. Lovely jubbly. And now we just got to connect all this stuff up. Put our little castle bolt, put our split pin through there, our cotter pin. As anticipated, our new chain is now of course too long, probably by about 14 teeth, i.e. the difference between the 106 and the 120. So we'll have to take some links out, and I'll just try that cover. I don't know, is it too much or is it kind of funky? Maybe I kind of like it, after all. Well, this one will be easier to sell again. Anyway, let's chop that chain there and get that all linked up. Get the carbs back on, and then I think, actually I think I'm just going to put a tank on and stuff and just see what it's going to look like. Yeah, just for shits and giggles. I think that all looks rather cool. Just enough, not too much. Less is more. Starting to shape up nicely, aesthetically at least. Just the electrics to go. Alrighty, let's get those carbs back on. So I've loosened these right off and pushed them back so that we have good access, unrestricted access to these. We're going to grease them up as usual. We could probably do with heating them up, honestly, because it's quite cold in here now. We'll try it as is for now though. Well, there we are, all filtered up and tightened up and everything else. So yeah, I love those all black filters actually. They're pretty damn cool, aren't they? Little gentle work with a Dremel cutting blade, and we've removed that link from the top. So now we can lose our extra chain and fit the new one. Well, fit the link to fit the chain. Just knocking those links out with a punch. And there it is. All in all, a very successful couple of hours. Turns out we took 12 teeth out, links even. Teeth are on the cog, aren't they? Yeah. So effectively we've now got 108 as opposed to the 106 required. As you can see, it's a little bit droopy, isn't it? We've got some adjustment here. Let's adjust it up on that first, see what that looks like. Then if it's too much, we'll take another 2 links out, removing our clip first. First off, we're going to loosen off the main nuts on the axle there. And that's going to mean our 5/16 and our 22mm. Just enough to allow us to move the wheel back and forth more easily. Guess we better jack it up in the air. This time I decided to jack it up on the bottom of the oil sump there, which was a little tricky, a little precarious, I have to say, but as you can see, we're airborne. And what I did was position this jack stand here so it caught on the frame as the bike leant over to the right. So that's, yeah, it's a little bit wobbly, but it's good enough, and I don't think it's going anywhere. So that's about where we want it in terms of tension. I don't want it bustingly tight. There should be some slack, but only a very small amount. So there we are on our adjustment. It's quite a long way back, admittedly, but not terrible. Still got some in there, as you can see. So I think we're going to leave it at that and tighten it all up. All right, I'm going to let it down now. Want to watch? Could be fun. I know, what a disappointment. That was amazingly smooth, wasn't it? You should not attempt such lunacy alone at home without the supervision of an adult. Unfortunately, there aren't any in this house, so I have to do it on my own. So yeah, happy with that kind of slack, for want of a better word. That's about right. Now we just got to make sure that this lines up the same on the other side, otherwise our our rear wheel won't be pointing straight ahead, which is always makes for interesting riding. Talking of which, I obviously haven't tightened this fully. It's nicely snugged, but we still need to allow this adjuster to move back and forth as we engage it with its docking station. And there we are, same that side. And perhaps counterintuitively, to do the lock nut, that boy there, you have to switch this into undo mode just to hold the actual bolt in the same place while you tighten the lock nut down the shaft. Tightened up that main nut again, leaving it in position for its cotter pin or split pin. And I think we'll go for one of these big guys. So we're just going to drop that through there, like so, and then we're going to come at the other end with some pliers and just splay that out, like so. So that means that that bolt nut shouldn't shift around. And I think on that note, we'll call it a day, for this episode at least. No clues about what we're going to be doing next time around. Yes, we're going to be doing spaghetti and noodles and things. That happens to be a fuel line. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe down here somewhere, and encourage others to watch my lunacy.